here with a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Andy. Andy, how are you doing tonight?
Trev, I'm doing great.
It's great to hear your voice, Andy. Great to hear your voice. And we are also joined by Alex. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And we are here with the episode 8 recap show. All I got to say, first thing out of the gate, mark another one up for Josh crying. Love to see it. Making that over under, what was it, 6.5 or 5.5?
I think 6.5.
Just add another tally to that list. We're getting closer, hitting that over. So love to see that. But I thought this was it was a good episode. I don't think it was a great episode by any means, but it was a solid episode. I thought the challenge itself was better than the elimination. That elimination, we could go on for days of how embarrassing that was. Jesus, Josh, like it was kind of like a make-a-wish one for him, I would say. Wouldn't that be a fair statement?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Alex, what were your initial thoughts on it?
I would say overall, I agree. Good episode, not great. But again, that's what you asked for the middle of the season. Rarely in the middle of the season you're going to get a A+ episode. This one was in B+. This one was good. Good challenge. The thing about the challenge, and we'll get into this, is it just took long. It was so that made it so that there wasn't a lot of random stuff thrown in the episode. But overall, it was good. Good watch.
Absolutely. And Andy, what'd you think?
I actually love this episode. I was a very big fan. And it sounds like I'm kind of the odd one out here, but this was probably one of my favorites of the season. I thought it was a very good challenge, very good elimination, a lot of good drama. I love this episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I just felt like I think it might have been the elimination, and it's kind of like that lasting impact of the episode, still kind of in my mouth or whatever. No homo. But it literally, I just felt so like it was just I don't even know. I don't know how you guys felt about that elimination, but I wasn't sold on it, and that's what threw me off, I think.
Any chance I get to laugh at Josh, I will welcome with open arms.
Yeah,
it was funny to see that, but it just felt weird because we literally had a great challenge, basically a T-bone, and literally you bring in just the one where you toss it off the thing, and one person didn't even finish the puzzle, and one person must have missed 25 throws. So
if you had to pick out a weak spot of the episode, I would say it was the elimination. But because it had two bad performances, like you said, from each of the guys, but I guess the two things at the end of the episode would be, like you said, we got a Josh cry and Josh just TJ laughing at him and all that. And the other thing is just kind of the continuation of the rest of the season with the whole guys' skulls, because now all 5 of them have it. So I think that's just going to make it more interesting every time we have a guys' day.
Honestly, I would have loved it if TJ's like, all right, guys, you guys are in the finals. Everybody else, pack your bags. You're going home right now. How wild would have that been?
But we know there's a fucking dozen episodes.
God, don't forget, 11 more episodes. So then again, we are live on YouTube and on Periscope. We got some of the usuals back in the chat. Mikey the Doctor, Boogie Brown back at it again, the trivia king himself. Mikey the Doctor wrote very early LVP voting for Josh. Wow, tossing that out for a challenge or elimination winner. So we'll get into it in a little bit, but be sure to type your MVP LVPs towards the end of tonight's episode. So with that being said, let's begin right at the start. Most importantly, Alex, did the streak break, or was this do we need goal line technology, a little VAR to see who was in first?
Yeah, I think technically in the streak we're talking about, for any new fans here, is the theory that we've got going, where the beginning of every episode, the first person to walk into the house is always the winner of the last elimination. And so this episode, it would have been Leroy. But yeah, I think it might have been broken, because if you watch it again, I think the first person that walked in was technically Casey. I mean, Leroy was right there with her. They might have crossed through the doorway at the same exact time. Obviously, they're a team, so they were probably walking in together. I guess the way I view it, and tell me if you disagree with this or not, but the way I view it is, I think Casey technically walked in first, but just for the sake of how stupid this whole streak is, I kind of want to just think that it was a tie. Tie goes to Leroy.
God.
I think it was. And Ryan McCord just called it out in the chat. I think it was you, Alex, who said that Cam was going to be right there too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sure enough,
we
she
all
was.
knew that. We all knew
Yeah.
Cam was going to be right there, front and center. Got to get her screen time in. I'm pulling it up right now so I can see it exactly.
Well, and it was not like it was Casey walked in the door and then Leroy walked in after her. It was, I mean, they played it up.
Oh, it's Casey. Casey is the first one in.
Wow.
Yeah. Casey is definitely the first one in. Leroy second. Cam third. Any guesses for fourth?
Kyle.
Michi, bang!
I thought it might have been.
Wow.
So we can keep it alive by saying winning team.
God, I guess.
I'm mad at that.
Well,
all right. So anything else happened in kind of that beginning segment?
I was gonna say this was one of, I think, the weaker pre-challenge segments of the season so far. Like, I mean, it was really just Lolo and Nam talking about their communication and all that, and then Cam and Leroy coming up with plans. But yeah, I think, I mean, tell me if I missed anything or anything in the chat, but I think before the challenge started, my biggest takeaway was what we just talked about, the streak.
God, the streak is over.
There wasn't a lot, and I think it was because, like I said, the challenge just took a long time.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I do want to bring up, what do you guys think about the whole Lolo Nam team in general? I feel like there's so much potential with that team, but it's just, they just drop it. Like, I felt like tonight, like if both of those teams were in the final round, who would have won, you think?
What teams?
So if you would have had CT versus Nam, or who was the other versus Cam and I guess that wouldn't have been the matchup. It would have been Kyle. I'm trying to think. Final round, Cam versus Lolo. Sorry, Cam versus Lolo, and then it would have been Kyle versus Nam. Who you got in that?
Ooh.
So it would have been if Nam would have been CT.
Well, CT ended up going against Nam at one point.
Yeah. So disregard CT. I'm saying Nam versus Kyle and Lolo versus Cam. Who would have won that?
I would say probably Lolo and Nam.
I think so too.
I think so too.
Because they have everything to play for. Cam and Kyle, I mean, they have their skulls. They have nothing. To be honest, they have nothing to worry about.
Right.
As of now.
They're not at risk of getting the House vote.
Yeah. Boogie Brown's writing Nam is a flop, and he's holding my girl Lolo back. I don't know if Nam is a flop. Do you think that? I think he's a good – I mean, what he did against CT when CT was actually trying was I mean, it's a little hard when CT gets you on the ground and he's literally stuffing your face into the ground. I think Nam is no layup, basically. I think he's a good person, good competitor. Would I say he's one of the best? No, absolutely not. Mikey the Doctor writes, Lolo has to switch partners. What do you guys think?
Let me ask you this with Nam. What has he done?
He's kind of, and that's the thing. I feel like he's always kind of just above average, but that's it.
And what?
He never went. Well, tonight's elimination or challenge.
He did good tonight. He did good tonight.
But that was more brains than anything. And again, more power to him because that's definitely part of the challenge. But people had Nam, and I think us included, as like a very serious threat. But he has been a bit underwhelming in my mind.
No, I agree. But I feel like
flop might be a bit too harsh, but
yeah, I think he's just kind of, classic radar watch, who's kind of floating under the radar. He's not doing much, which I 100% agree. He's not winning, but he's up there. I mean, like Ryan McCord said, he took a beating from CT and he held pretty well. I mean, he hung on for a long time. And anybody going against CT, if you can actually hang on, fair play to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say when I think of Lolo and Nam, they're a good team on paper and all that. I think it just comes down to, and like, I mean, this is obvious. It's not like a hot take or anything, but it comes down to their communication. And you think about it, if you were to look at the guys cast from the start of the season and think of like one guy who might be the worst at communication, probably Nam, simply because of the language barrier and all that. And then look at a girl and say which girl is probably the worst at communication. And like we've seen Lolo in the past, like she's a good competitor, but like we saw it tonight, she loses her cool and all that. So like you paired arguably like the worst guy and girl in terms of like being able to work with a partner together. And we got what we expected with that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I one last thought on Lolo and Nam. Just as a team in general, I think it's a prime example of two very strong competitors, but they're rookies. And I think this episode showed that. There's just a lot to the challenge that you can't really grasp your mind around unless you're in the thick of it, and they're just now getting into the thick of it. So honestly, like rewind 8 episodes ago, maybe they should have gone at maybe like a veteran who's been there, done like Nani. Nani should have gone up to Nam and said like, hey, you look like a serious threat. I know this game. Let's partner up. And same with Lolo with like Corey or someone like that. Like if those two would have been partnered with a veteran, I think whatever team that is a very serious threat. But because neither of them have challenge experience, I think it's kind of showing in an episode like this.
Yeah, absolutely. One else thing I kind of want to touch on, just because I see it in the chat. CT wins his skull, for example. Does he pick Lolo as a partner, you think?
He picks someone. He ain't picking Big T.
I mean, I think we all know that.
I don't know. I feel like Cam is the most appealing girl right now because she has a skull as well.
That's true. That is true.
It's definitely attractive to pick someone with a skull for sure.
Absolutely.
But like to your point, think about, we talked about how Lolo has been paired with Nam and the communication's been shit. Like, isn't CT the classic guy that, is always coaching the rookies, like taking them under his wing and all that? So like if they were partners, Lolo and CT, like Lolo would probably be much more reeled in.
Yeah. And I feel like you look at that team and I think she kind of said it towards the end when she talked to Anissa and stuff. Nobody's really talked to her or anything. And I think like if CT or like this veteran type was her partner, we would see a different, game strategy of how to play and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get back on the tracks. Let's dive right into the challenge, right?
Yeah.
We left off. So overall thoughts, I think we can all say we agree, we like that challenge, right?
I thought it was good. It was physical. And the thing I liked about it compared to your typical challenge is we had like I think we had 3 total rounds. In the first round, I guess each round, because of the genders, had multiple heats and everything. And like, that's what I liked about it, is that there was levels to it. Whereas like, I feel like you wouldn't have been surprised if they would have done it the first round with the 4 different heats and just said like the best time wins it.
Yeah.
That's what they usually do, is like the winners are the winners, whoever has the best time wins it. But instead they were like, these are the winners. Let's move on. Let's do something else. Let's keep competing. I
mean, we literally hinted at that last week, saying we want heats, instead of, best time, because we don't see the times. We'd rather see King of the Hill, who's on top, whatever. Literally said last week. So heat number 1, we had Cam, Lolo, Anissa, Nani, and Big T. In that heat, on paper, who would you take? Would you still stick with Cam? I think I would put my money on Lolo in this.
Good question. I mean, Lolo lost.
No, it obviously we know the results, but I'm saying.
Right, but going in, I think Lolo was my favorite. Lolo was my pick.
He has to be.
Mm-hmm. See, I would say Cam, just because, like, you would think Lolo would be as good as Cam is, if not better. But I think it just kind of comes back to the whole rookie thing. Like, Lolo hasn't done something like this before, whereas Cam's done the challenge for 5 seasons or whatever.
Absolutely. So this one was kind of the most physical one, where they were all kind of just ganged up on each other. And then we had kind of shades of, I believe it was War of the Worlds 1, with bananas. I was thinking of the Zach
and Zach and Wes.
Yeah, that's what I got vibes to. And I thought they were going to make a bigger deal about it, but they didn't say one word about kind of like Nani just tossing to Cam. So thought that was a little surprising. But anything else in the heat, Andy?
Well, question. Do you think so? That was like a very real like challenge move. Like it was very clear she was throwing Cam DX.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that helped Nani later on in this episode? Because Cam and Kyle could have very easily thrown in anyone else, and they stuck to, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but they stuck to Josh and Nani, and there's obviously other relationships and stuff, but that definitely didn't hurt. And that really, like, I think we got to acknowledge that as something that maybe that was a good move by Nani.
I think yes, and I think it was also a great move by Cam too later on in the game to throw them in to make it kind of like, oh, we have an alliance or whatever. Hey, look, we had the power team. You said you guys wanted to go in. We threw you guys in. I mean, I don't know what else you want us to do. So very strong play there, and I just thought it was interesting to see kind of Nani just tossing it kind of. I mean, the funniest part about that whole heat too was Nani was the one who found it, and she literally started laughing. Like she literally picked it up and she had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So heat number 2, we had obviously Cam wins.
But Lolo, she got choked.
I mean, here's the thing about that. Andy, you want to say something?
Go ahead.
No. I mean, all is fair in love-worn challenges, I see. And, like, if you're crying because you're getting choked out by Anissa, okay, let's be real. Like, she had one arm around her for literally 0.5 seconds?
Yeah, it was not.
It wasn't like she had like a sleeper hold. I mean, if she wants to complain, you can go watch Teresa versus Nani in a pole wrestle where literally she's choking her out.
But I think she was like kicking her face and stuff too. I mean,
doing all that, playing dirt. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and I like Lolo a lot. It's just she needs to put like this is not a sport. Like this is like a different game, and there are literally no rules. I mean, you literally had 5 people tackling you for it. I mean, it's just I don't know. I was not a big fan of that Lolo Jones we saw.
So here's the thing: pre-challenge, Lolo's sitting there talking to the camera. Oh, this is it. I'm ready to get my hands on people. I've been excited for this. This is what I wanted. And then you lose and you're going to throw this little hissy fit about, oh, I was choked out. You were excited about getting your hands on people. And then you're going to complain when Anissa puts her hands on you? Like, come on. Absolutely. Come at me, bro. Get out of here. Welcome to the challenge. Yeah, you were outnumbered. Yeah, Anissa was pulling you off so Nani and Cam could do it. Welcome to the challenge.
No, I agree. I mean, I just thought like it was just kind of like ridiculous. And I mean, we looking at the chat right now, they kind of agree with us. I mean, Jesse Adams, longtime listener, AWL, said she didn't even get choked out. Obviously, she had one arm around her. Like
Boogie, Lolo has some serious sexual frustration.
Yeah,
maybe.
But
I got that.
Then again, and like I said, it was Anissa. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If it was Cam, we might be having a different talk. But it was Anissa, so that's where I draw the line. Alex, anything?
No, we covered it. It was just a bad look for Lolo.
Bad look.
Agreed.
All right. So Cam wins that.
Second heat?
Toss. What?
Second heat now?
Yeah, second heat. We had Nam, Josh, Fazit, Kyle, and Michi. I mean,
I think this had one of my favorite moments of the episode with Nam's little pretend that he didn't have it. Because if you think about it, this was the second heat of 4, and the 2 after in some way kind of started like implementing that strategy of like pretending you didn't have it so that people didn't come for you. And so Nam did it first, and he played it off very well.
Yeah, I mean, he did a very good job of kind of like, I think he was just kind of crawling with it and not like, what was his move? Was he just kind of like walking like as a duck or something and just kind of like,
yeah, he was
duck walk.
Yeah, he was crawling on all 4s, and what he was also doing was he was like every 10 seconds or whatever, like picking up a rock and throwing it out.
Yeah. Fessy talks a big game about playing football, but he had such a weak tackle attempt against Nam. Very true, Mikey.
True.
Well, Mikey, he was a tight end.
Well, still.
He played D1, but he was only on offense.
Yeah, University of where? Tennessee?
Yeah.
Chattanooga?
There it is.
Oh, come on. So, yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, he just did not look good, I thought. I mean, what was him and Josh's plan? Like, oh, we're going to block the entrance and the exit. God, they clearly didn't block both sides.
Those guys are idiots.
God.
I think so. I mean, Fessy was right there. I was very impressed with Nam on this because he played that thing off for a while and he waited until Fessy's back was turned and he had his shot and he took it. I thought it was a very good. It was not a rookie performance out of Nam.
And it probably helped. It probably helped that he was a rookie and that just the cast didn't really know him and like the language barrier and all that. Because like if you have somebody that you can read that you've done 10 seasons with, like it's easier to tell that they have the thing down there. Whereas Nam, they like don't know him. They don't really talk to him as much. So like he played it off very well. It didn't take as much for him to play it off. But I mean, he killed it.
And Ryan McCord, he played football at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga is where he played. So just to clarify. So the next heat after Nam picked up the dub, who was it? It was Gabby, Amber, both the Ambers, Teresa, and Casey. So I felt like this one was kind of anyone's game. I would say Teresa was definitely the top one, but it could have been anyone.
Yeah, I feel like this one was this one was just a mix and mash. Teresa or Casey. I mean, those were the two on paper best girls in the heat.
Honestly, it was like the Island of Misfit Toys kind of thing.
It was
like you look at the people on there, like you forget some of these people was God. Yeah, Alex, take it away.
So I think this was the heat where some 2 or 3 girls were fighting over the thing. One of the girls like held the cross like behind her to try to keep it away from the rest of the group. And then Gabby came up like Swiper the Fox and just took it, right?
Yes, swiper, no swiping, and she took it.
Teresa did. Teresa had it.
No, yeah, Teresa was
holding it out.
Yeah.
And Gabby came around.
And then Gabby took it.
Teresa, terrible performance. When she got out of the water, she was on the opposite side of the
Not to
finish
mention
line.
she was on the opposite side. She was surrounded by 4 people.
It was so stupid. So stupid.
God. All right, so Gabby picks it up. She kind of just sprints, easy money, picks up the dub.
Yep.
All right, so then we had finally heat number 4. We had CT, Darrell, Leroy, Devin, and Corey. This is a kind of a stacked group, I think.
This was the veteran heat compared to the other 5 guys. I mean, you got CT, Darrell, 2 all-time legends, and then Leroy, Corey, and Devin. They've all been doing it for a minute. This was like the experienced group, very good group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God.
And I think CT. If Nam put on a seasoned veteran performance, which I think he did, CT might have won an Oscar. I mean, he was standing up. He had to have been kicking that thing around at the bottom because Leroy was right around there too.
I know.
I mean, CT played this thing perfectly because even though he's CT and he can bully anyone physically, except maybe Kyle, we'll get into that, but he played that thing with his brain and it really paid off. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, and I think this would have been a little different if it was, I guess, like the way we would have seen it would have been a little different if this one was the very first heat, whereas like we had seen that people had the strategy up to this point of like hiding it under the water, and like the way he was walking made it look too obvious that he had something there, but then like, they still weren't able to prove that he had something there, so that I don't know, like it just looks so funny, and like the way the fact that the way he was walking made it clear that he probably had it, but they just never found out that he had it was just funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so classic. So Are we going to round 2 now?
Yeah. So the winners again for the girls, Cam and Gabby, and then Nam and CT. Yeah, so round 2.
All right, so round 2, we had CT versus Nam, Cam versus Gabby. We kind of hinted at it earlier, but CT kind of manhandled Nam, and he hung on. I mean, as much as you want to bash him, I mean, he definitely did hang on to a big beating. So CT wins that, and then we also had Cam versus Gabby, which I don't know. I thought she said she broke her wrist or something. That's what I thought I heard. I think she just got her arm twisted, and she wasn't really wanted to go against Cam. So Cam obviously walked over that and got the dub there. Not really much to say. I think it was kind of big easy dubs. Would you agree?
The CT one I don't think was an easy dub. That was a hard fought. That was a hard fought challenge.
It was competitive and all that, but I felt like CT had him like the entire time. Like he was in no trouble during that elimination or challenge, excuse me. Like he was in like full guard on top of him. Like he wasn't moving. Like so.
Yeah,
I did also like that in this round. I did like that in this round. The 4 people that moved on represented 4 different teams, like 4 different pairs. Because I think if you would have gotten to this round, and let's say CT won and Big T was the girl winner in round 2, like she somehow advanced and somehow won this one, there probably wouldn't have been round 3 because there was only one team winning. So like I like that there was 4 different teams involved to this point, and then I think you kind of started to get a feeling that once TJ introduced round 3, because there was a guy left CT and a girl left Cam, that they were going to have to bring their partners back in, which I like too, because it was like these people lost first round, but they get to come back in.
Yeah. So going to round 3 right now, Kyle Cam versus Big CT. I mean, there had to be a deal in place, right? Like we all know that, right?
I would have thought we would have seen it.
Yeah, what would the deal have been exactly?
Like, don't throw us in? I don't know.
See, but
because I feel like CT could have, if he, I felt like he wasn't trying.
So here's my, Alex, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say even if he tried, I think he knew that the next round they would have just lost anyway. So I agree. I don't think he was necessarily trying, but I don't know if it was within the context of some sort of deal.
Agreed. I don't think there was a deal. I think we would have seen it if there was a deal. And I think that was a huge missed opportunity from CT, because I think he could have gone to the Killas and said, look,
we could do this all day.
Cam, you're going to take Big T out all the time. I will not lose to Kyle, because if CT was 100% in, then I do think he's beating Kyle in this every time. Even though I like Kyle. Kyle's really good. But if CT would have said, look, I will just throw it. You guys can have it. But we want to be the vote you guys put in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they should have done, because CT still needs his skull. And now is the time where, this was the last gold skull. We saw that.
Yeah. So I don't think – here's the thing, though, Andy. CT wants to go in. I think we can all agree on that. Everybody knows he wants to go in. But he's fine holding out.
He hasn't said anything about going in. He hasn't made a big fuss.
In tonight's episode, saying he wanted to go in.
To who?
It was the whole Lolo scene. I think it was just a confessional, because he was worried.
Exactly. If you're saying in a confessional, you don't want to go in. Josh has been saying to everyone, throw me in. I'm a competitor. I want to get my gold skull, yada, yada. Okay, Josh. But he is very vocal to the whole house of, I want to go get my skull. Darrell hasn't been vocal. CT hasn't been vocal. Corey hasn't really been vocal. These guys are veterans that are just adamantly sitting in the background that they need to go in. And see, I think CT had a good chance of cutting a deal to do that, and he kind of blew it.
Fair play. I do want to clarify, Love by You throwing some heat at us tonight. One thing I want to clarify, I don't think I've ever said Cam's not that good. Maybe I have. Let's be real. I probably have. But I would say she has to prove herself like to win at least one season. Yeah, she's 10-1 in elimination. Very impressive. Who she's beaten, like very sketchy list. But more importantly, like she needs that ring. And once she gets that ring, I mean that solidifies her, completely. Would we all agree on that?
Yeah.
God. But yeah, like you say, she is number one. She is definitely the top girl on there, right? Would we not?
Trev, I think you threw some shade at Cam earlier on this season.
Go ahead.
In Trev's defense, though, there's just a difference, I think, in the conversations that we've had between power ranking the girls on this season.
Run the tapes back. Go ahead, Alex.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just responding. She wants to run the tapes back. I'm fine running the tapes back. Like I said, she might have been overrated. I 100% agree with that.
Oh, no, Jesse Adams brings up a good point. I think we were talking about Cam in terms of the whole challenge, like all-time competitors. And if that's the case, I'm right there with you, Trev, because Emily, Laurel, even
I agree.
A lot of these girls in their prime. Killa's not there yet, but it's like any quarterback. You need that first ring to be considered as a great.
This season, she is the most dominant girl. 100%. We're not disagreeing that. She goes against Emily in a hall brawl. I'm putting my money on Emily all the time. What the hell is going on over there? I'm putting my money on Emily every single time. Laurel every single time. So I don't know. So let's keep it going. Alex, what do we got next?
So Kyle and Cam win. Go back into the house, and I don't think there wasn't a whole lot of drama or anything because it kind of just goes right into the voting. Kyle starts talking about how he wants to throw in Josh against Fessy, which I think we're all on board with. That would have been awesome to get those two idiots going against each other, win-win, no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just the classic. We see how these episodes go. There's always like a 10-minute segment where it's basically the quote unquote names that are getting thrown around. And I think this episode, it was Fessy, Josh, Amber, and Michi. And then you go into deliberation. And Amber and Michi say, don't want to go in, whatever. Nothing really gets accomplished. And then I think this was the first time this season where they go into the chamber, I think is what it's called. They go into the chamber, the
Chamber of Secrets, as I call it.
The double agents, Cam and Kyle go in there and they cut right before we see who it is. All right, they cut before they show it, and then when we come back, they don't show us who the compromised agents are.
Mm-hmm. Which I liked. I don't know about you guys. I really liked that.
I did as well. I
liked it because, like, in a weird way, I kind of felt like I got brought into the season. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they broke the fourth wall. So it was like they're not showing the fans what's happening.
I agree. Well, and here's a small little line that had me totally diverted. I thought it was Anissa and Fezzi for sure because Kyle said the whole house is going to be nervous or is going to be scared or something like that. Who the hell's scared of Amber and Michi? When he said that, I was like, oh my God, it's Anissa and Fezzi, but obviously that was wrong. But I loved it. It had me on the edge of my seat.
God.
It was a good twist.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they should do that the remainder of the year, I think.
Well,
no? You want to see? I like being surprised, and I feel like this show has turned into such a big foreshadowing and everything like that. I feel like in the past seasons, we go back to the Rivals 2, Free Agents of the World, and even before the Island, whatever. They don't foreshadow as much. You see some of the stuff like people have tweeted out us tonight, and we've seen like the Amber M, Amber B, beat. We know something's going to happen between those two. I think we can all agree, right?
So here's what I think they can do. It's up to production at this point because I could see it going either way. If it was like it was tonight every time, I wouldn't be upset. But if there was a lot of drama between the reveal and the elimination, then maybe it would make sense to show us. Like if people were stabbing each other in the backs. We didn't really have that this time. It was pretty much we don't know, no one knows, no one talks about it. We go to the elimination. But yeah, a couple comments in the chat. There was a little audio issues there, but I think we're all squared away.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Are we good or no? We're good?
Yes.
All right. My bad. I have no idea what happened. Sorry. Maybe some magic jack or whatever. So continue, Andy. What were you saying?
I think that was all I got. I don't even remember what you're talking about.
I was just going to ask you guys in the chat before we move into the elimination. Was there anything else we missed between the challenge ending and they go to elimination?
I don't think so.
There wasn't a whole lot. I mean, it's just a classic, there's whisperings, the Ambers were going against each other and all that.
So here's one question I want to run by you guys. Let me go this route with you. So when it was Cam and Kyle is it still the Chamber of Secrets when they reveal it too? When it's just so I figured you would know, Harry. It's Trevor. So Kyle brought up the fact that Amber B went up to him and said, hey, keep this a secret. I voted against Amber M. Just keep that a secret. Kyle, however, went on top of that to Cam and said, and oh, by the way, Amber M approached me and said, hey, let me know what Amber B did. We didn't see anything like that. We didn't see that conversation. Is there a chance Kyle made that up? Because it was almost too perfect for both of those conversations to happen. And the fact that we saw one and not the other, and granted, Kyle's one of my favorite social players in the game. I could totally see him doing that just to stir the pod, if you will. What do you think? Do you think both of those? We obviously saw the Amber B one happen. Do you guys think the Amber M one did, or do you think he was just kind of making a good story?
Oh, I thought for sure he was lying. You hear me? You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Yeah, I think 100% he was lying on that. I mean, it's Kyle. He's the biggest snake in the game. Like, would you think? I mean, there's no chance they both came up to him. Let's be real. Come on.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they showed the first
clip and not the second clip.
Yeah.
They definitely shown both.
Yeah.
But that's just a good veteran move by Kyle, I think. Just kind of
agreed.
Just kind of stirring it up just a little. So, let's see. Anything else we miss before the elimination, Alex?
I don't think so. I don't think there was a whole lot of filler stuff this episode.
Yeah, I know. It did. I felt like the challenge itself was kind of long. Obviously you have those heats and stuff like that. So, very interesting.
Should we get into the elimination?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
So then I guess this is, like we said, this was the first time where we had to wait until the elimination to actually know who got voted in. We get there, the compromised agents are Michi and Amber. Not a big surprise. I mean, just based on how it was going, we saw a few votes go for Anissa and Fessy, but I think if you had to guess based on how they edited it, I think you would have guessed that Amber and Michi were going in. The safe pick for, I think, the majority of the house. So they go in, and then Kyle and Cam make their pick. And I feel like this was one of the ones where if neither of them, or even maybe only one of them, had their skull, they might have nominated themselves just because this is the most layup team.
Oh, yeah.
But they both did. And so they kind of went Josh and Nani. And I just needed an explanation of it, exactly why they went Josh and Nani, because I would have thought that obviously they had seen what the house vote was going to do, and they knew that it was an easy team in there. And so don't you think they would have gone to a strong team and said, like, we'll give you this elimination if you want to go in. We know who your opponent will be if you guys want to be aligned with us. Like, I just kind of missed how they settled on Josh and Nani, I guess is what I'm saying.
And it might have been like what we talked about earlier, just that little toss from Nani. Nani might have been the one that got Josh a skull tonight, honestly. So
I think so. It seemed like there was some sort of agreement. We kind of missed it. Josh is an idiot. The chat wants us to just skip the elimination entirely. And granted, we're talking about more of the decision process because the elimination was a joke. But I do think you guys bring up a good point. I mean, they kind of just threw them in. One thing that Cam brought up, the more Cam is on, the smarter I think she is. And I think she might be the best player in this entire game. But not only, and we talked about this a little bit before, but if they throw Josh and Nani a bone, they owe them one. And on top of that, if they don't throw in Fezzi and Anissa, they owe them a bone. Like, perfect power move from both of them to get two. I will never consider any team associated with Josh a good team. Two teams both now owe Nani or Cam and Kyle.
Yeah.
Two teams owe them, and they could care less. So I thought it was a really smart move. I think they got a lot of power out of it, and I think it was just like a good move. And I think she sees the game holistically.
I think it was a great move too. But I feel like Nani kind of basically tossing her, the win. I mean, after that, I mean, she really didn't. I mean, you look at the heats that she went through.
Yeah.
It really wasn't anything, that important. She kind of dominated. So, we'll just leave it at that. And I feel like if the chat doesn't want to talk, I mean, we don't have to. I mean, we can skip the elimination if we want.
Well, let's at least touch on it.
There's not much to say. I mean, it was simply just,
I mean, but Josh throwing those balls. I mean,
let me ask you guys this.
Honestly, spoiler alert, my MVP might be just watching Josh throw those balls at the wall, honestly. But Andy,
question for you guys. Were either of you surprised by Josh's performance? Because I knew for a fact when there was an ounce of like pure athleticism needed here, he was going to shit the bed. This did not surprise me in the slightest. Now, granted, it's still hilarious to actually watch it unfold, but were you guys surprised? I was like genuinely excited, just thinking like, oh, let's go. I get to watch Josh try to look like an athlete.
Honestly, I was surprised how he looked with the puzzle. I cannot believe he finished the puzzle that fast. And I mean, obviously, we got the cameras. We honestly don't know how fast he actually did it in. But it looked like he went pretty fast. And then the performance that he did after was arguably one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Ryan McCord writes, what was worse, Michi not finishing the puzzle or Josh throwing the balls? That's a good question. I would probably have to go with the puzzle, though.
See, I would say Josh throwing the balls at least the first half of it when he wasn't hitting anything, just because – I mean, Michi did terrible. This was one of the worst performed eliminations from both sides we've ever seen. But I think you could have picked at least maybe two other people from this cast that would have done just as bad, just because that's how stupid these people are. Whereas, like, we've seen bad puzzle performances before. I mean, just seeing Josh up there trying to throw those balls and just chucking it with all of his might, and then it just taps the wall and falls right down.
Yeah.
Very I think I've got to say between those two, because that's a great question, Ryan McCord. I think I have to say Michi, because at the end of the day, Josh still got it done. Granted, he looked like an absolute idiot. He still got it done. Michi didn't finish his puzzle. Yeah. It did not seem like a hard puzzle. Josh finished it like really quickly. And one thing that I don't know if you guys picked up on, but I sure did. BME did a very good job piecing this together. They showed the exact same throw by Josh at least 5 times. At least 5 times.
Stop.
So, granted, I'm sure Josh actually was an idiot and a moron when it came to throwing these balls. But I promise you, you can see exactly it hit this tiny corner right in the middle, 2 posts. Hit that exact corner. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about
I have
because
no
we
idea.
saw
What,
it
I
5
have
times.
no idea what you're talking about. I saw him miss like 50 throws, and they all just blend together. So
I promise you, it was a great cut job. It was a great editing job. I'm not trying to say Josh played well by any means, but between those two, I mean, Michi just come on, man, come on.
yeah. And here's the thing too. I kind of liked Michi. That was the thing. Like
I did too.
he was a sleeper. Like he was just kind of. I mean, yes, he was kind of there, kind of having confessionals every once every 3 episodes. But he seemed like a funny dude and a chill guy. Like I enjoyed him. It's just it sucked when you like a guy like that and he does that performance and it's hard to stick up for him. But
I'm just always a fan of when somebody can come on the challenge with all of these big personalities and make it this far, 8 episodes, making literally zero impact on the game.
God,
he did nothing, and good for him for making this far. But I do have a question for you guys in the chat in terms of this elimination and looking back a little bit, seeing how these two guys performed. Is this maybe the worst, not in terms of quality of what the elimination was, but
wait. Sorry. I hate interrupting, but looking at JS Paul's 21's tweet or comment, I have to step in. Miss Swaggy sees blanket. That might have been the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I literally gave that thing an LVP, was up there for LVP of the season. So get that out of the chat. I don't even ever want to see that again. Sorry, that was just a mini rant. Continue, Alex. I'm sorry. Had to throw that out there.
You done?
I'm done.
JS Paul's with you. He or she's on the same page.
Okay. Thank you, JS Paul. I see Miss Swaggy sees blanket, and I'm like, whoa. Let's pump the brakes. That blanket was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, me and my girlfriend, why would you want to see a blanket of yourself? That's so creepy. All right, I'm done. Here. I'll just.
All right. Is this the performances we saw tonight in the elimination? Are they the worst performances we've seen since Nelson, Corey, soccer?
Yes, 100%. That soccer's got to be.
No, if we count small segments, the worst performance still to this date, if you count side spinoffs, is Riff Raff Putt Putt. That was the worst performance.
Get out of here.
That was the worst performance I've ever
We're talking the real challenge.
The real challenge, probably soccer, yes.
That soccer was incredible.
I'm trying to think of what's up there in terms of both people just doing absolutely terrible.
Doing terrible. If we're talking about bad elimination, that was just the stupidest thing you've ever seen, I would throw Georgia and Nani's little tape job up there.
The tape was bad. Yeah, but that didn't. It was a stupid elimination. It wasn't a bad performance. That was just a stupid elimination. That's one where BME has to just go hand up. That's on us.
Whereas the one we saw tonight, the idea of it was fine. We saw it before the season, it was fine, but the way that they played it was just awful.
Oh, it was
on 2 different fronts, no less. There were not that many. There were literally 2 aspects of this challenge, and they somehow managed to screw both of them up.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
I'm trying to think of other ones. I know we're missing one big one, and I can't think of it. I don't know. We'll think about it. Maybe Boogie Brown has. I mean, he's probably typing up something right now.
It's always those weird ones, like this one was, and kicking the soccer ball that was on fire, and all those. It's always the weird eliminations that people just shit the bed at.
God, that soccer one is just absurd.
Hilarious.
Alrighty. Was that it about the episode? Obviously, we said Josh wins, which was, we kind of got to circle back to the Josh cry, and he was going nuts, talking shit to Devin. He thought he had won the whole season, I think. Yeah, I thought he did. I thought if Josh wins an elimination, it's just a tactical nuke, and the whole game just ends. And I was just the celebrations, he was popping the champagne bottles, the fireworks I felt were going off in the background. It was just dude, let's pump the brakes. Let's relax. Like, you won an elimination where a guy didn't even get past part 1 of it. So let's just leave it at that.
And didn't Devin have some line about like Josh was like, oh, like I see you in elimination, and Devin was like, I hope when we do it, we have to like throw balls as part of it.
I mean, it was just absurd.
I think so. TJ gave out 2 like compliments after the elimination. One was to Michi. He said like, "Hey, it wasn't your day. We hope to see you back." And then Josh, he was like, "Yeah, good job, Josh." I think TJ was genuinely giving more of a compliment to Michi, even though he was miserable, than he was giving to Josh, who won the challenge, looked like an idiot, and like got the win.
Yeah. So.
And if you had to pull, if you were somehow able to pull the entire challenge fan base and say, who would you rather come back next season, Josh or Michi? I think 90+% would say Michi, the guy who did nothing.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think I'm going Josh.
No, stop it.
No,
I tell you what, as much as I hate him, as much as he's an idiot, I love laughing at someone. And he's he's just a buffoon. He's an absolute buffoon.
I don't disagree. I personally think Josh has just run his course.
Absolutely.
I think you're probably right, but
you know what it comes all back down to?
Blovies.
Bringing in these big brothers of the world and all these Havies in the world that we don't need.
I'm not going to say it, Trev. Don't try to get me.
I will not bring up, a game where we need a trilogy of or anything like that with some new fresh faces or anything like that. I refuse to say Fresh Meat 3 or anything, but I'm just here.
Well, and we got a great comment in the chat by Love by You when Kyle beat Josh last season, and TJ said, "Congratulations, you lost to a guy who cries a lot." And
phenomenal.
Wasn't it Kyle too tonight when he was making fun of Josh, and he was like, "Oh, I got to win this one for my family, my cat. I love you,
Mittens."
God.
Kyle's hilarious. And Josh, Josh is just such an easy person to make fun of, but friend of the program.
People forget we actually had a podcast with him. I don't know. We were young. We were desperate. What can we say?
It wasn't bad.
No, I liked it. It's good to always get inside information from, cast members and stuff. And he was nice to, hop on the show with us. So,
yeah.
So Josh cried, tally that up for another over under, delete it, delete the pod. Maybe
classic.
But yeah, maybe BMFE days. Attaboy, Ryan McCord, longtime listener. But
award-winning listener.
But
AWL.
Yeah, that's it, right? We're done?
Yeah. And the team stayed the same. Amber's a rogue agent.
So what do we think Amber's mindset's going to be?
She's got to be happy.
Does she have a mindset?
Michi was a good guy, but he's bringing nothing to the table. Whoever she picks up will be an upgrade.
And 8 episodes in, we saw this in the chat, I think, she is the first female rogue agent.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because I think, we've had 3 girls go home because of injury. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, injury, pregnancies, the list goes on and on.
Okay, yeah. Fair. Sorry. Yeah, so with that being said, let's move on to some segments. What do we got tonight?
Yeah, I think we're ready for some segments. We got one new one, but we'll get to that in a sec. First one is this day in challenge history. I think this one will go pretty quickly, but I'll just get right into it. So February 3rd, this day in challenge history. These questions I think are getting easier, so I'm gonna have to be more vague in how I ask them to you guys in the chat. Let's see. So episode 11, Battle of the Bloodlines. The name of the challenge was Truck Crossing. Who won the challenge?
No idea, dude.
The problem is this day in challenge history, the fact that this season lines up with bloodlines is just, it's a shame because Boogie's the only one who's going to
before Boogie, I'll go Kara then because I know she made it to the finals. That's my guess, Kara. No, wait. I'm trying to think. Did Kara beat Bananas the last time?
I'll go with Corey. I'll go Kara. Boogie said Corey.
God.
Episode 11 was Corey and Mitch.
Bang.
So then your second part's going to be who was in the elimination, right?
Who was the elimination winner?
Winner, Jenna. I know that's.
I'm gonna go.
You have to go Kara. That's the only other team, right?
I'll go Kara.
Yeah, right.
Kara and Jamie won.
Yeah. Okay.
And what team did they beat?
I'm gonna go strike out. No idea.
I'll give you a hint. No, I don't think anybody has said it tonight aside from the chat.
I have no idea.
I'm not even gonna name. I don't even want to guess. I'm embarrassed. I have no idea. Anissa
And Rihanna.
So, wait a minute. Did Love by You beat Boogie Brown there? Looking at the timestamps, do we have a new challenge historian on the going? Boogie, she's coming for you. Love by You coming for you.
Wow.
So, what do we have another this day in challenge history question or?
Yeah, we got one more.
This must be. What season are we at?
This one's also pretty easy in my opinion.
God.
Well, yeah, you know the answer.
God.
All right, hold on. Episode. One sec. All right, episode 5 of X's 2. The name of the challenge was Open Arms. Who won it?
You know the one I think of, Opened Arms, that's where you jump into your partner's arms, right? Literally, I think of that from Rivals 2 when Zach wins, and it was Paul and Emily was the other team.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse ring. I'm gonna go for X's 2.
No idea.
So all right, so let me. I'll basically give the answer to my second question.
Wait,
I was gonna say Wes and Teresa.
Is it Wes and Teresa?
Yeah, Wes and Teresa won. I'm not even going to ask the second part of it because this was when last place was Leroy and Naya, and he sent Bananas and Nani in. This was when Leroy did that same elimination we saw last episode.
Was this the Leroy had the gun? I just showed him how to work it. And
No. That was later in the season.
Okay. Because they had the power, obviously, if they won it. So
Bananas was well gone by that point. Yes.
Highlight of Wes's challenge career that episode.
Interesting. So,
what else we got?
We ready for our next segment?
Yeah.
Blowing.
All right. Next segment is a new one we're introducing for this episode. It's called Stir the Prop. And Stir the Prop. I'll explain it real quick.
Wow. Wait, Boogie's calling you out.
I thought we didn't even see any answers from Boogie.
Yeah, no, he got them.
All of them right.
Oh, my bad.
Oh my God. Tee this man up.
All right. So next segment is called Stir the Prop. And so basically what this one is we got the Super Bowl coming on Sunday, obviously a big betting day, a big prop betting day, prop bets and everything. And so what we did is before the episode, the three of us came up with our own sort of challenge prop bets that we're going to talk about. And we're going to give our line for it and discuss, kind of embrace debate on what we would take. So if you think about it, we've talked a couple times where the over-under for Josh cries for the season has been 6.5. So if you guys aren't familiar with betting. It's a similar thing to that. We're just going to come up with our own props. Rest of the season, it could be person specific, season specific, whatever. And we'll just give our lines and kind of embrace debate in the chat. Tell me if you guys in the over, the under, or whatever. So I'll go first. I'll explain. Should I give the line first or the prop first, do you think?
Prop, and then we guess the line. But you set the line.
Okay. Well, okay. I have the line and the prop in mind. So my props or the prop, and then we'll go in a circle, the other two guys, is for the rest of double agents, the number of challengers that are going to go home simply because they don't have a skull.
I think I would put that line at 2.5. Trev?
You think it's going to be that high? I think it's good. If they don't have a skull,
What are you putting?
I would put 0. I think it's going to be the same bullshit as last season.
Well, all right. So let me my line.
Yeah.
My line that I had was 1.5.
I'm taking the over. What else is new? But I'm taking the over.
Because I think this is where I couldn't decide, because I think based on what happened last season and the fact that it was 0, I think you would have to put money on the fact that there's 1. And I don't know. But then because of the fact that it was kind of underwhelming last season, I think that will end 1. So I don't know. I set it at 1.5.
Why I disagree, why I think it's too high, and I would put like 0 or less. Whoa. Trev, you don't have to disagree. You just got to pick side.
Well, I'm taking the under 100%.
Okay.
Because here's how I look at it. We still got 11 episodes left. I mean, there's still plenty of the game to be left. I mean, how many guys have skulls? 5? 5 guys have skulls. How many guys don't have skulls? 3?
Corey, Nam, CT,
Darrell.
So 4.
5 with skulls, 4 without.
And we're on episode 8. So if they were to go 4 there, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's episode 12. And what's the girls' count? Ooh, there might actually be 1 or 2. Oh.
So which one are you taking? Over, under?
I'm staying with the under, though. I'll stay with the under.
Okay.
I just know BME, and I feel like there's just, I don't know. They get our hopes up. They do the stupid little twists that mean absolutely nothing. And I feel like that's, the path we're on.
And keep in mind, I know the episode, 19 episodes is bananas, not to be confused with Johnny, but you've got to factor in it is going to be at least a 2-parter for the finale. Don't sleep on a potential 3-parter. I mean, the fact that they're dragging this on this long, the final is going to be it could be like a 3-part documentary series at this point.
All right. All right. Are we good with that? Your prop there?
Yeah. So Alex set the line 1.5 for people who go home because they do not have a skull. I took the over. Trev took the under.
Yeah.
What do you got, Trev?
All right. Mine's Gold Rush, trying to get the gold skulls. So currently we have 5 guys with skulls. We have 4 people remaining. We said Darrell, CT, and who were the other 2? Nam, and who was the last one? Corey. You have those 4 guys. How many of those guys steal a gold skull from somebody else? So out of those 4, I'm setting the line at 2.5. So Nam, Darrell, CT, and Corey. Out of those 4 guys, if they all get a chance, we're saying they're all going to go into an elimination, one of those 4 guys. How many of those guys steal a skull from someone?
Do they have to defend the skull once they get it?
If they get it, let's say Corey beats, I don't know, Devin, let's say, okay?
Uh-huh.
And then Darrell goes against Corey, and Darrell wins, that does count as 2. Because Corey got his originally, and then Darrell gets his. You don't lose.
So how many skulls get stolen?
Yeah, out of those 4 guys. So it's only those 4 guys. And I'm sending it at 2.5.
I think I'm going under.
You're going under. So you don't think any of those guys, Darrell, Nam, CT, and Corey, none of those guys are getting a skull?
I think maybe 2 of them will.
Okay. That's why I set the line at 2.5. Because I think realistically, Corey's 50-50. I think CT eventually will get one. I think Darrell should get one. And then Nam and Corey are kind of those toss-ups. Can they get one? And that's the teeter-totter line of the 2.5.
So I'm also taking the under.
Okay.
Because I think for the next at least 2 guys' eliminations, I think we'll see 2 people who don't have their skulls going against each other. I don't think within the next 2.
I don't think you can. Can you?
What do you mean?
We don't know that.
Oh.
Well, actually, all 5 skulls are.
That's what I'm saying. So those 4 guys have to go against skull guys now.
So I guess if I'm understanding your prop correctly, and I don't know if I am, I think I'm taking the over now.
Well, yeah, because here's how I look at it. I don't think anymore, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Darrell can go into an elimination against CT right now. They both don't have skulls.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So what I'm saying
but here's the thing.
You think they can go in and it doesn't count? Because that'd be bonkers.
Well, I don't think that it doesn't count. I just think the loser goes home and is no longer in the game.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying, let's say it's CT versus Darrell in an elimination. So let's say CT wins that. CT doesn't get a gold skull for winning an elimination.
I don't think so, but I think it could still be possible.
I thought the way I interpret him tonight was you have 5 guys with skulls. One of those 5 guys is going to be in the elimination the remainder of the game. And then, it keeps going. Is that not how it is?
I don't know if we know.
One thing that was brought up mid-episode, and someone brought up in the chat too, is there could be a purge. And if there is a purge, then that could totally throw that off. Because, I mean, they could – I don't know. I mean –
the way I interpreted it, like hearing TJ tonight was like, for example, more than likely the 3 guys, Josh, Devin, and Kyle, those 3 guys are probably going to see the elimination floor again. Would we all agree on that?
Why not Fessy?
Maybe Fezzy, whatever. He might see it again, okay? What I'm saying is those guys have to go in, right, or not?
We don't know that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it can be CT versus Darrell.
Right.
That's what
I agree with you.
There's nothing to play for.
I agree.
Okay.
But we just don't know how it's going to shake out. Because now you cannot, to your point, you cannot put 2 people who don't have skulls against each other. So that either means that, they're going to have to do something.
So I guess my question would be, out of those 4 people, my prop then, out of those 4 people, the remaining guys that don't get skulls, how many of them get skulls? Anytime during it.
And it's 2.5.
Yeah.
Out of 4?
Yeah, how many?
I would still go under.
Under? Okay. Andy?
I'm also going to say under because I think it's going to be 2.
Okay.
Because I think
we don't need an excuse. Let's just move on.
Yes, agreed.
Let's move on. Andy, what's your next prop?
So my prop is going to be very simple. I'll keep it very clean, very easy. This is the line. No. So we can't guess the line here because it's going to be essentially a 0.5. 0.5 is the line. So it's more or less, does it happen or does it not happen? And the prop is going to be how many location changes will we see throughout the entirety of the season, final included, 0.5. It has happened. There was a streak of like 6 seasons where it happened every time. It's kind of tapered off. 0.5 location changes. What are you guys thinking?
I'm saying no because of COVID.
I would say the under because of COVID. I think because of that, and I mean, I think it factored into their decision of where they started filming, but I think the fact that they're in Iceland, which is like a cool place to film a final, I feel like they'll probably just ride it out there. So I think I'd probably go none.
Okay. Andy,
Okay.
what's your take?
I'm taking the over.
Oh,
I usually take the over.
where are they going? To your background is where they're going, or?
Well, keep in mind, I mean, they did, I think one season they did 2 where they went to Iceland and then Argentina.
That's what I was gonna say. I think in Rivals they did 2 location changes.
And you go to Iceland and you think, okay, this is it. Then you go to Argentina. I think it'd be easy, especially once it's like, if it's a final, you don't have to have a location where you can fit 20, 30 people. You just need less than 10. And I think less than 10 is not considered a gathering these days, and you don't have to have a mask and you don't have to be 6 feet. Well, who knows what the rules are? But I think once they get to the final, they could. And I don't think it'd be that hard. So I'm interested. I would love to see a nice over on that because I don't think we've gotten it in a couple seasons.
Yeah, I do want to bring up one comment, one more prop bet, because I do really like this one. Honorable mention, maybe. How many Big Brother players make the final? Mikey the Doctor, where would you set your line at? I would probably.
Yeah. Mikey's got to make it. Let's talk about what we would put it at. I think you got to factor in. There's 6 people total, 3 guys, 3 girls. I would say 3.5. Is it half or? I would say 2.5.
I'm just trying to think of Big Brother cast members. Honestly.
I think the extent of Big Brother is Fessy, Josh.
1.5?
I would say 1.52.
That's probably a good line, realistically.
Why? I think Fezzi's in a good spot, obviously. I think Casey's in a good spot.
She doesn't have a skull.
Does she not?
No.
But I think there's still 2 skulls out for the girls.
So there's 3. There's 3 out for the girls.
Cam, Anissa.
That's it.
Ooh, shit.
So why I think 1.5 is a good line is because I think the only 5 people, and they ran through it tonight, are Josh, Fessy, Casey, Lolo, Amber, B. Out of those 5, you got to say Josh is a no shot. You got to say Fessy and Casey both have a good shot just because they're both good competitors. Amber B, probably no shot. I mean, she's a rookie. She's done nothing. And Lolo is just a nutcase. So you're really looking at Fessy.
Lolo's Big Brother?
I think she did like a celebrity season or something.
Oh, shit.
Lolo did?
Yes. And Amber mentioned that tonight.
I would take the over still, I think.
Because I think Fezzy and Casey.
I think it's either going to be 1 or 2 people. So I would say 1.5.
That's a good line. 1.5 is a good line. But I
looked at that line first and I was like, dude, that is a horrible line. And then I was like, holy shit, wait, that's actually a really good line.
Classic.
Very like Biggie's, Wednesday night game, thinking you got a +10 or -10 for Villanova or St. John's or something. Easy money, just not hitting at all. But,
All right. We ready for the next one?
Yeah, what's our last segment?
All right, so last segment, as always, MVP, LVP. We'll give you guys a chance to let us know who should go first for MVP, and also let us know what you guys thought about what do we call that? Stir the prop. I kind of like that one. Get a chance to just think of any random challenge prop that we could come up with. But yeah, we'll do MVP, LVP, and then we'll wrap this one up. Is anything coming through in the chat yet?
Yeah, what's the order, chat? What's the order for MVP, LVP?
My guess is Andy, Trev, Alex would be my guess. Ooh, Mike.
Alex, Andy, Trev. Okay.
All right, I think that's the order we'll go with. So while we're giving our picks, give your picks for MVP, LVP. I'll kick us off. In my MVP of the night, I'm going Nam. The way he performed in the challenge in the first heat was the first glimpse we got of what Nam can do. And he battled CT pretty well. And again, I think one of the main reasons in the first 7 episodes we just haven't seen him perform is just because they've been kind of weird challenges, hanging over a bridge and all that, and just like doing these weird things with so many teams left. I think Nam, he looks like a good competitor, and I don't think he's shown anything to prove that he's not. And I just think he played it really well. Him and Lolo may be turning a corner after this one. I think they kind of foreshadowed it in a way where it's like where CT came to them and was like, you guys are a good team if you can just like figure things out and like learn how to work with each other. So my MVP, I just saw his little move when he was pretending he didn't have the relic, and he did, and he played it off very well. I'm going Nam.
All right. Interesting.
Okay.
Andy?
Okay. I thought you were for sure going to take this person because I think he had a phenomenal episode. My MVP is going to be Kyle.
Yep. Great pick.
I mean, for a lot of reasons. He beat CT. And CT kind of gave off the whole like, oh, I'm not trying, yada, yada. CT was trying. When Kyle had him, CT was trying to go over him. Like, CT was putting up a fight there. And Kyle beat him. Now, granted, I think there's not a full asterisk, but there is, I think, a half asterisk. But he won. He now has Nani and Josh, who owe him one. He's got Anissa and Fezzi, who owe him one. He got a lot of power from this elimination, or from this episode. He was hilarious. He was hilarious throughout the entire episode. And he's good. Kyle is good. I think Kyle's like he is good. I think Kyle's one of my personal favorites and one of, in my opinion, the best new challengers that we've had in the past 5 years. He's very social. He's very funny. He's very good at challenges. Love Kyle. I think he had a great episode. He's my MVP.
Wow. My MVP tonight is going to be Kyle's partner, Cam. And I mean, obviously, she showed out during the challenge today. And I think what Andy brought up earlier, I think her political game has improved tremendously. And I think it was a very smart move throwing in Nani and Josh tonight, made an alliance there. And also, I feel like she's in a really good spot right now. Yeah, and we'll just leave it at that. I think she definitely deserves MVP, and I was surprised it kind of slipped. When people vote like Nam or something, it's kind of like just like a toss away vote. So, my LVP tonight, I think everybody in the chat, I think anybody in the world would agree with me. The LVP tonight has to be Josh. Like, we all know that, right? Andy, I mean, you're smirking. It has to be, right? I mean, what was that toss? I mean, horrible performance. Looks so bad. He just looked terrible. I mean, there's not much to say. I was smirking the whole time. Josh sucks. The end. So
he's the worst, and we touched on it. Phenomenal pick, Trev. His whole rant when he won, and
yeah, that's the icing. That's the icing on the cake.
I mean, Mittens was, again, from my MVP. But first off, and it got thrown out there. I didn't realize this. It took Josh 4 seasons to get his first elimination win? Are you kidding me?
Oh, well,
there should be a cutoff. If you don't get an elimination win in 3 seasons on the challenge, never invited back. I mean, come on. He was acting like he had won it all, and he got a gold skull by beating Michi.
Who?
Congrats.
All right, Andy, your LVP.
Man, I've got a couple others still out there. I think there's one that immediately catches everyone's eyes. I'm going a little bit off the page from that, a little hezzy hey. I'm gonna go with Fezzi,
Who?
and the reason being, I'm done with this little shtick of I'm the big badass of the challenge. I'm gonna stand by the opposite side of the mud pool, so these guys are gonna have to go through me to get to the end. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're big. Yeah, you played tight end, and I don't know his stats, but I can guarantee you in 4 years he didn't catch more than 50 passes. He's not that good. He walks around like he's the big bad wolf. Nobody cares enough. If he was in something like this, maybe he messes up the puzzle. I will stake my claim right now. What's the date today? February 3rd, episode 8. Fezzi's not going to win the challenge. And guess what? He acts like he's going to. It was fun at the beginning. Yeah, Fezzi is his sophomore season. He's coming out swinging. Yeah, look at me, pounding my chest. The shtick's over, buddy. No one cares. Nam outsmarted you in a challenge. And I'm not trying to discredit Nam by any means, but I'm just done with his whole – I'm done with his shtick. This was when I was just done with Fezzi. So he's my LVP. He didn't do anything terribly bad this episode, but I do still think he's got a target on his back, by the way. And I think we kind of saw that this episode. So I would love it if he doesn't even make the final. But I'm done with Fezzi. He's my LVP for tonight.
Alex, what do you got for us?
So my pick, I don't know if you guys are going to veto this or not.
Oh God,
we're vetoing it already.
My LVP pick, because when we give our picks, a lot of it is around whose stock is going up or down. Up like GameStop, and whose stock is going down for LVP.
AMC.
So my pick,
too soon.
I can't give you the name of who my pick is, but my pick is whoever Amber M's next partner is.
Oh, I don't veto that at all.
I smirk at that.
I was my initial thought was give it to Amber just because she's kind of like a dead man walking. She's gonna be, now that they probably girls elimination vote her in and everything. But I guess my whole thing is the next one. I guess the next one you would think is a guy girls, but it wouldn't. Amber M would not be involved in it.
Correct.
So she can't be. And so after that next episode, she's going to have a guy partner who basically is just tied to the worst girl left, and might get, if they have a skull, they might get screwed, getting pulled into elimination with her. So my pick, I don't know which guy it's going to be, because I don't know how the next elimination is going to go, but I'm going to go not Amber M, but Amber M's next partner.
Great pick.
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. So anything else? I do want to bring up one thing.
I've got 2 honorable mentions, by the way.
Oh, then blow us. Let's hear it.
Both for LVP. We obviously didn't talk about this, but Michi, that was not a hard puzzle. And he was trying to look at Josh's puzzle. He was looking at the puzzle behind him. It was not a hard puzzle. And for him to not even accomplish it, it was just, he has to be honorable mention.
Yeah.
And then one other one that I've got for honorable mention is Lolo.
Okay.
We talked earlier about Nam hasn't proved himself. Neither's Lolo. Why did she not win this challenge? Like, why was she not in the power seat?
Because she got choked out.
But like, that's the thing. Like, are you really complaining with Anissa and like she's the reason you didn't win it? Like, come on. If she would have won, which I think she should have, because if it was that like bracket style and it was her and Nam against whoever, I think it's going to be a good matchup. And if she would have won her heat, they're not facing Cam and Kyle. But if she would have won it, they would have been maybe regardless of if Amber and Michi get thrown in, she could have gone down, probably won, and been in a much, much better spot. Her and Nam are both people that I think we all had as high on our power rankings at the start of the season. You got to start showing us something. Potential gets you hired as a coach. Potential also gets you fired as a coach. Because at some point in time, you got to start doing something. And Nam showed some sort of heart today. Lolo didn't show anything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything. You know, some schools might feel differently on that last part, but, you know, that's just –
Indiana's not one of those schools. 4 more years. Give them time.
All right. Well, one other thing I do want to bring up, I want you guys – I saw some of you guys asking questions for us in the chat. We'll start it off with Mikey the Doctor wanted us to rank the top 5 guys with skulls. There it is. Rank the top 5 skulls. Right on cue, Mikey. So we have Kyle, Devin, Fezzi, Leroy, and Josh. Top to 5. Mikey, how do you want us to rank us? With their partners or them personally? Or how should we, you know?
You got to answer that there. Rank the 5 guys with skulls as most likely to go in to least likely. So we'll do number one, we'll do like this guy, even though he has a skull, will be going in again, versus like 5 is like he has a skull, he's not going in, probably has his ticket punched to the final.
Okay, so I think 1, I mean.
Do we all agree on number 1?
Has to be Josh, right?
I would think so. I mean, he's the easiest target.
You know who I think you got to at least talk about?
Is Devin. I think those two are 1 and 2, 100%.
Yeah.
And I almost think they're a bit interchangeable in terms of who's 1, who's 2. Because keep in mind,
matchup.
Josh has numbers. Devin does not have numbers. And he's kind of, ever since like the initial targets on Devin's back, he's kind of skated under the radar for a little bit. But if it came down to a vote and it was Josh versus Devin, I think Devin's going in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who do we think's 5? Who do we think are 4 and 5? We'll do the opposite. Like, who's probably got their ticket punched?
I think it's Leroy.
I agree. I kind of think Kyle.
I would say Leroy and Kyle.
And then that leaves Fezzi as 3?
Fezzi's 3, I think.
Because
I'm good with that.
Because there's so much heat on him still.
Yeah.
But the thing I worry about Kyle is I could see Corey, you know, going for him, or Darrell going for him, or, you know, like one of these guys taking his shot. And I don't see them taking a shot at, you know, one of the big, like Leroy. Leroy I think is safe 100%. And I even feel that same way about Fezzi, but I just feel like, I don't know. Do you think
the problem is Fezzi does have a target because people are genuinely scared of seeing him in a final. And that's what I think could help Devin. I don't think people are that scared of Devin in a final. And I think anyone smart is going to say, you know what, if I have to go in a final and I have to go against Devin or Fezzi, I would rather go against Devin. So I think that could get Fezzi thrown in.
Gotcha. We got another question from JS Paul 21, and I'm pretty sure this is directed towards Andy. When do I get my $10? Kyle hasn't even talked to Gabby.
Great question, JS Paul. I am a man of my word. We've got 11 episodes to go. I am still feeling very confident. Fezzi kind of had me nervous a couple episodes back. He's trying to spit his game. Well, guess what? Fezzi has no game. Kyle's sitting in the wings. I am a man of my word, but I still think I got a shot at this one.
Interesting. Any other questions we see? Anybody else got anything? Anything you guys want to say? Lasting remarks? No?
What? Go ahead.
Well, I saw Boogie had a comment of why they skated Fezzi in the final. He let a 6-year-old Bananas beat him. I don't care how old Bananas is. He has the challenge embedded in his DNA, whether it's running, whether it's some sort of physical challenge, whether it's a puzzle, he is the challenge. He could be doing this longer than Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl. I mean, and we all saw the classic pick of Bananas with his rings, the MJ pick. I mean, he's a legend. He's a legend.
I mean, people forget though, Andy. Little Johnny beat Johnny beat Bananas up the mountain in free agents.
That's like Diddy Kong beating Donkey Kong.
Little Johnny's having a girl.
No, seriously?
Yeah, he posted on Instagram.
God, Jesse Adams. We did see it was trivia. One of the best episodes of the season. Love trivia. Hopefully, they don't screw it up. I know in the past they've kind of gone away from the typical format, so hopefully they stick to their guns and be normal with it.
Yeah, trivia is always good because it's a little different, but I feel like, in the past few years, it's either made better by how they do it or made much worse by how they do it.
Absolutely.
It's hit or miss.
Whoa, 2 of those rings are questionable. He's shooting his shot at you, Andy. Bananas, 2 of those rings are questionable.
Which ones, Boogie?
Well, 2 of his rings are questionable. I will give you that. One was the Deflate Gate, 100% from Brady, obviously. And then the other one was oh, is he talking about Bananas? Because there's definitely no questionable there.
Wait a minute. What if we do a little pre-trivia predictions on the first team to lose? So, like, which combo has the dumbest guy and girl?
Oh, I like that. Dude, I would have loved to see Amber M in this.
I mean, there's like 6 different teams. I feel like Lolo and Nam, Leroy and Casey, Josh and Nani.
God, Josh and Nani might be number 1. Corey and Teresa, I feel like, is an all right team. Corey's not the smartest. I'm not saying Corey. I think Teresa is.
Right. But I almost think like Corey literally makes everyone around him more dumb.
There's got to be somebody. God,
don't sleep on Big CT. Don't sleep on Big CT.
Michi and Amber would have been a fun team to see at this.
I think Big CT could be bad.
Amber B and Darrell just because of her. I don't really know about.
Yeah, there's a lot of new people. There's a lot of new people.
Rivals, Total Madness, and The Island was pathetic. I mean, The Island was just great political.
I mean, he's got 7 rings.
Yeah, wait a minute. Why are we putting question marks on these rings, even if the majority of it was a political game? That's the challenge. That's baseball.
Oh, and Boogie, the other thing I do want to bring up to you, you brought up like, CT didn't win a ring until his 9th thing of all time. I've been on the record saying CT's the most overrated player of all time in the challenge, and I will stand by that. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he is a top 5 player of all time, but people act like he is the greatest of all time, and he is not the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I have been saying that for a few years now, and you've joined me after that.
Yeah, that's a good call, Alex.
Yeah.
Mikey the doctor does say it's sad we don't get Nelly in trivia. Oh, could you imagine Nelly T? And I think Nelly T's partner was Amber M, his original partner.
Yeah. Wait, the real question is, can you guess how many partners Amber M has had?
Nelly. Then Michi. Was there someone between Nelly and Michi?
I don't think so.
I think that was it.
I mean, you're acting like she's Corey.
God, how many has Corey had?
Like 5.
No, Boogie. I'm saying I think CT's overrated. Trevor, thinks CT is overrated.
Yeah, so, like he's never won like an individual challenge where like they have to compete on themselves and win a final, and he surely did that in the prime of his career too.
God. Watch it. God, is that all we have? Anything else?
I'm just waiting for Boogie to come back here.
We might have to
final thoughts.
Final thoughts on the episode. I thought it was a good one. It kept the momentum going. We're gearing up to, I guess we're almost halfway. And then we're gearing up to the classic last quarter of the season. But I think we're in a good spot. Good episode.
Yeah.
And trivia around the corner. And we have the skulls are going to start playing more of a factor now. So I'm happy with where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, anything?
No, I'm locked and loaded. I'm all in on the challenge right now. I think we are this is probably the best I've ever felt like halfway into a season in a long time.
Okay.
This was one of my favorite episodes so far of this season. We got trivia around the corner, a lot of good things on the horizon, and I thought this episode itself was really, really good. So, yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy. Bye-bye.